Zabala. Are you sure with that, going back to Spain in your village? And
Absolutely.
sure?
I love it. Yeah, it's the best. I love nature. It's how I get really, inspired. And I think I've been traveling a lot for a long time, and I really feel like I have a lot of ideas and things that I want to do, and I never have time when you work from Monday to Friday. So I'm gonna give myself the chance, for at least the next year to try and develop my ideas.
Will you start to work with stone again?
Probably. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do. I feel like the urge of doing many things, and I have to organize my ideas and start putting my projects, in line. A bit of 3D to pay for my bills, and then a little bit of sculptural projects as well.
I leave now the stage and I leave it to you. Die diesjährige Keynote steht unter dem Motto von der realen Figur zum virtuellen Charakter. Rafa, Zabala, Bildhauer und Digital Sculpture. Have fun.
Okay, good evening. Thank you very much. It's a real privilege to be here. I want to give a special thanks to Professor Ulrich Veganas to give me this opportunity to stay with you tonight and share a little bit of my story. Tonight I want to take you on a little trip, and I want to talk about evolution and how technology and evolution takes a very important role in our daily jobs. But before I go into it, I would like to ask you if you use technology in your daily jobs, like software or any technical gadgets in your daily jobs. If you please raise your hands, how many people use technology in the daily jobs? Okay, I would say like everybody, right? How many people use traditional tools? Me as an artist, I would think about clay or a pencil. How many people use traditional tools in our daily jobs? Not so many. So probably many people are thinking the same as me, like probably 2 decades ago, this would have been a really different picture. I would think probably it would have been the opposite picture, right? Because before we used to do a lot of things traditionally, and now things have changed a lot. I remember in 1995, I used to live in England, and I met a guy called Paul, and he was in a job center. A job center is a club kind of where people unemployed go and try and find a job, right? He was an engineer, and he was in his early 50s, and he was a very, very talented man. He was an engineer, and he became obsolete because software started kicking into the industry. And he was a guy that used to draw cars, design cars in his daily job. And his drawing skills were amazing. And I was there kind of looking at his drawings, really amazed and enjoying his drawings. And I said to him, Paul, I like drawing as well. I do sculpture. I do it in my, offsite. And but I'm really looking to do like, a proper job, serious, something normal, And then I turned around and he was looking at me like impressed and said, "What do you mean?" And I explained to him that where I came in Spain, in my background, my family and friends' background, they were always trying to talk me out of art, and tell me that you don't make a living out of art. And sometimes not in a very nice way, not all of them, but some comments like, you're gonna end up in the streets asking for money, if you don't go and take a serious job. So he looked at me and he said, that is a whole bullshit, that is not true. Of course, the thing is that there is a lot of negative people around, but of course you can make a living out of art. And he said, you know what, bring your drawings and bring your sculptures, bring everything, and I'm just gonna make some pictures. He was a very good photographer, so I did so. I brought all my stuff, and he made a lot of pictures and everything, and thanks to him, I had my first portfolio as an artist. And I think I would call Paul my first angel. And, no, hang on, oops. Okay. This one, sorry. Okay, I would call what do I mean by this? I see what I call by angel is somebody that carries a very important message, you know? When somebody is so important, that message, that it could change your life. It could change your path, you know? And thanks to that, I was, he put me in the right train, heading in the right direction. Which I think is a very important thing, you know? We have to catch the right trains in life to head in the right direction, and we have to be able to identify which are the right trains to head where we want to go, okay? And not let them just pass by and sitting there and just watching trains pass by. So yeah, thanks to this portfolio, I found my first job working with a traditional sculptor as an assistant. And it was a very, very big project, and we made more than 300 sculptures for a shopping center in Manchester called Trafford Centre. So these pictures over here are some pictures from that project. And that was my first job as a traditional artist, but it also was my university as a traditional artist, because I learned everything, not only about how to model properly in clay, but building a proper armature and make a mold and castings and everything. Thanks to that, I could go and work for another sculptor, and then eventually I had my own workshop, and I ended up also teaching sculpture in an art school in South London, in West King College. This is some of the work. This is a monument that I made for Captain Scott, which is in Cardiff Bay in Wales. That was unveiled by Princess Anne, and some of other pieces here. And let's see. Then I kept on working on my traditional art, and I traveled a little bit around the world. I was in Portugal, Australia. Eventually I came back to Spain, to this little countryside town called Serra. And as I say, you know, I was saying in the States, I love nature, I get really inspired, you know. And so this is my workshop. I took this capture from Google Maps, usually. So again, technology. You can be anywhere, you know, and capture this place that you cannot find in pictures that you don't have. The problem with this workshop is that this door was too small for me to take out some of the work that I was doing, because it was like large size. So I had to split the sculptures into different sections, take them outside in that patio that you see out there, and assemble it ready for transport. And that, of course, was calling the attention of people driving by. And one day, guess what happened? My second angel stopped by. His name was Michael. So he stopped and he introduced himself. Oh, hi, you know, I'm Michael. I drive by quite a few times and I see what you're doing. You know, I'm really interested. I'd like to know more about. Then he learned that I could speak English, and he loved that, you know, because in that part of the world, it's not normal that many people speak English. So we became good friends, and eventually he told me what was his job. And he was concept designer, so a guy that is too deep in the CG industry. And he told me, oh, there is a software called ZBrush that you should really try to try this software, because I'm sure you're gonna love it. And I wasn't very convinced. I was like, dude, I don't even know what's a computer. You know, I never use a computer. You know, my environment is a workshop. I was a little bit, and he said, well, don't worry about it, you know, because I downloaded it for free. There is a trial, so you can try for a month this software and see how it goes. You don't lose anything. So I did. I tried the software. This is the software, by the way, that I use in 3D most of the time through all my career. When I tried it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I could just put a sphere in there and pull and push and just create shapes, clean, nice, without having to breathe toxics or feel cold or hot, or, you know, it was amazing. And I realized that this is what I want to do, you know. I want this to be my tool from now on. And then I learned there was an event like this one in Spain called Mundos Digitales. And I thought, I have to go there and meet people from the industry. So what I did is I made sure that I printed so many leaflets, you know, like a big bunch of leaflets with my traditional work and digital work. And so I went there and I sat in the first row where people were giving conferences. And when they came down, I jumped on them, introduced myself. Hi, I'm Rafa, you know, nice to meet you. Can I introduce myself? This is what I do, and such and such. So, you know, after a few weeks, guess what happened? My third angel called me. And don't worry, there's no more angels. I only have 3 angels, by the way, and 15 minutes. So, his name is Jordi Bares. He's a really popular guy in the 3D industry, especially in London. And he said to me, how about you come and work for us? Would you like that? And I was like, oh my God, you know, yes. You know, I was super nervous. That was Thursday, and he said that I had to start on Monday. When I hung up the telephone, I was instantly sick. I spent 3 days in bed, basically disintegrating myself. By the time I got to London, I looked like a zombie, totally pale. And I was also very shocked when I got in the mill, in the office, and I saw that environment. I was kind of like, this is amazing. I was used to the workshop environment where it's kind of loud and dirty, and people are kind of yelling and joking around, you know. People basically are not embarrassed in a workshop. They kind of like, right, yeah, and joke around. And over there, it was clean, it was beautiful, the decoration was amazing. The people were all like nice and pretty, wearing really nice clothes. They were speaking softly and doing their thing, you know, on the computer with the headphones on. And I was thinking, my God, I'm gonna have to change, you know? They're gonna throw me out of here thinking that I'm a caveman or something like this. So after a while, I got used to it. And the mill became, apart from my first digital job, it became my university as well in the CG industry. Jordi knew I didn't know anything about technical issues. You know, I could only sculpt, but he said, you know, I don't care. The important thing is that you know your job, you know anatomy, you know how to sculpt, you know shapes and silhouette. And this is only a tool. You will learn the tools and you will become a good artist. So I'm really thankful to him because he gave me this big opportunity. So after a while, by the way, I'm just gonna put a little bit of my work. This is some of my digital work. After a while, I decided that I wanted to give a step forward, you know, and move on. And Jordi and me, we became good friends, and we liked a lot working together. And he said to me, you know, Rafa, I'm really happy with your work. You know, I really enjoy working with you, and let me know if I can give you a hand. Have you thought where you want to go? And I remembered, you know, back in time, when I was working in my workshop in Spain, they were doing the movies Avatar and Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And I went to see these movies, and I was thinking like, wow, this is amazing, you know, who's doing this? I want to be the guy doing these monsters, creatures and stuff like this, but I didn't even know who they were, where they were, what they used, you know, I didn't know anything, I didn't have a clue. And then, of course, when I was working in the mill, I found out all these things. And I told him, well, I think I heard about this company called Weta, you know, that they work in Avatar and Lord of the Rings. And he had a lot of contacts, you know, so he gave me a hand. And I was in Weta, you know, he got me in Weta in the end. It was great, you know. And one day I was there sitting in front of my computer, modeling some popular characters like this one, Seiso, and the Hobbit movies, or Luca, and Planet of the Apes. And then I stopped, you know, and I realized, and I looked back, and I remember myself sitting in the cinema a few years back, watching Rise of the Planet of the Apes and thinking, how do they make these monkeys talk and do all these things? I couldn't work out that they were not real, you know? They were so realistic, I couldn't believe it. And there I was making one of them, and learning through doing it, you know, how they did it. Then I thought more things, you know. I thought that at that time, traditional tool sculptors, you know, was going down the hill while digital sculpture or digital tools were going up, you know. Like, for example, in Lord of the Rings, if you think like most of the characters, they're real people with makeup and prosthetics and stuff like this. But the Hobbit movies, basically, is almost everything is digital. But I started to think and feel as well that the same way it was becoming apart, it's coming together. And I can really see that in the future, you know, like traditional tools and digital tools are going to become one tool. Because if you think about it, with the 3D printing technology, scanning, and the virtual reality, basically the people that are developing software are thinking about artists not having a hard time with technical issues, you know, and be able to feel comfortable. And as you see with virtual reality over here, they are developing tools that you're going to be able to work as a traditional artist with something that is virtual, but you feel that you are actually touching it. You see the whole thing around, you can walk around. You can make a sculpture in clay, you can scan it, you can put it in your computer. You have the other way around as well, you have a sculpture in your computer and you can print it out. They're going to be printing human organs, you know. Things are going to go crazy in just a few years' time. And I think we're all very, very privileged that we're here to see that. Even the technology for conference, they're developing conference in a way that you're going to be able to talk to your family or your business partners as if they're in the same room with you. That's going to be pretty amazing. And that makes me think that we're going to become all together again, traditional and digital, which we're kind of cousins, but we used to see each other kind of far apart. And now we're going to come together again. And I'm really glad that I did all the way and be able to understand, you know, because I think I can feel this is going to happen. And another thing that I thought, and I realized walking my path as well through life, is that there is two kinds of people. There's the people that don't want to listen, people that are scared, the people that don't like progress, right? They don't like things to change because they want to still be doing their own thing without taking a risk or a challenge. They want to take a comfortable position, right? And on the other hand, there is the people that are open-minded, that, you know, they are willing to reinvent themselves, and they want to walk with progress, and they are brave, okay, and they're willing to take risks. I'm sure now you are all wondering right now which kind of person you are, which angels have you met, which path you walked. And to me, I'm pretty sure that everybody here in this room belongs to the second type. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You can enjoy the rest of the night. Wow. It's not much left from the award show, but there's a party afterwards. So we see you there. Thank you so much.
Ja, man, danke.
Wir kommen zum Hauptpreis des heutigen Abends.